Good evening and welcome to the Center for Rural Development. We're thrilled to have you here this evening. I know you dropped off your students at a different location, so it's a little bit weird dropping them at one place and picking them up at another location, but we always want to make sure that they get an opportunity to know what's going on at the center. This program is so extremely important for the center and for our region of Kentucky, so we want to make certain that we expose them to everything that the center has to offer. Parents, thank you for sharing your sons and daughters with us this week. It's been a really good week. This is a great bunch of scholars. Give yourselves a hand. How about that? And parents, if you will indulge me for a few minutes, I do want to talk to the scholars. We have had a good week. You've got to experience a lot of things this week that you don't see on a regular week, and we are thrilled that you were able to be a part of the Rogers Scholars Program. We could not do this without the support of Lindsey Wilson College. Dr. Bill Luckey has been a strong supporter of this program for a long time, and as a matter of fact, 3 of his daughters went through the program, and that's when he really got sold on the quality of the program and what we're trying to do with our youth programs. We had some great speakers. You got to hear Dr. Dean Adams, got to hear Dr. David Johns from Union College, and today you got to hear Kenny Davis. Who liked Kenny Davis's message? Incredible message. I've heard it probably 30 times now, so 15 years times 2, and I still get something out of it each and every time. It's just such an amazing message that Kenny has to offer. You got to enjoy, a video conference with NASA. I enjoy those as well. I was down in Huntsville, Alabama 2 weeks ago and got a behind-the-scenes tour of NASA, the testing facility where they test the rocket tanks, and then we had dinner under the Saturn V rocket, and that's just absolutely mind-blowing to sit under that and have dinner and look up and see how huge that thing is. But it's what's possible that's out there. We've kind of taken a step back in that whole space race, but what's going on at Morehead State University and our own part of the state is absolutely incredible. NASA has taken notice, so any of you that have an interest in space, there's something for you to look at, because Morehead is doing some incredible work. They're building some CubeSats that NASA is sending into space at Morehead State University in eastern Kentucky. So we're there, folks. You're now part of an elite group. You're a graduate of the Rogers Scholars Program, and with that comes a lot of responsibilities. You're representing Congressman Hal Rogers. You're representing the Center for Rural Development. You're representing my board of directors, and you're representing Eastern Kentucky. So that's a lot of responsibility that's now placed on your shoulders, but we know that you will do a great job with it. I have folks tell me that they're scared where our country is going. When I get the opportunity to interact on a week-long basis with bright students like you, I don't think we have a whole lot to worry about. I think you guys have put us in great shape for the future. The Rogers Scholars Program has been going on 20 years. This is our 20th summer of Rogers Scholars Program. Makes me feel a little bit old. Jonathan said this morning, Lonnie, I think these kids get younger and younger every year. Maybe it's just, Jonathan, we're getting a little older every year. I don't know. But I've had the pleasure and the opportunity to work with every single class of Rogers Scholars. And it's truly an amazing feat when you think about 20 years worth of students that have come through this program and some that have gone on to some really great things. When you look at our high school graduation rates, you look at our college rates, if you look at this program, I would love to expand this program way beyond the 60, 62 students that we have, because we have a 98-point-something% rate of these students that go on to advanced education, that go on to do something else. But the thing that we've got to make certain that we do is when you complete that education, we need you back in southern and eastern Kentucky to make a difference. That's absolutely what we need from you. It's great to go away somewhere exciting and get your vacation, and I'm sure some of you are sitting there right now saying, I can't wait to get out of this place. I can't wait to see where else I'm going. But I'm telling you that you won't find a better corner of the world anywhere than Eastern Kentucky. We're a region that loves place. We love where we're from. We're proud of where we're from. You see a lot of folks that have gone on and worked somewhere else. But when they get ready to retire or they need a change of scenery, where's home? It's always back in Kentucky. Kentuckians have populated Cincinnati and Columbus and Detroit and lots of northern cities for a long, long time. But we need you to make a difference in this region. I had a mentor one time that told me the true measure of a person is how they respond when they get knocked down. And I firmly believe that. With all my heart, I believe that. Because it's not about what happened to you, it's how you react to it. No one, and remember this, no one can make you feel inferior unless you let them. So if you wake up every day, like Kenny Davis told you, wake up with a positive attitude every day that today is going to be a great day. Don't let anyone steal your joy. Don't let anyone make you inferior. Only you can make that happen. And I really believe that a lot of us don't live our dreams because we're living our fears. And that's a bad way to live life. Life is too short to be afraid all the time about what we're doing. I guarantee you, 25 years from now, you'll be a whole lot more disappointed by the things you didn't do than the things that you did do. So I'm going to encourage you, I'm going to challenge you. Explore, dream, discover, go do great things. You're only held back by your own imagination. You can do anything that you set your mind to. And if you set your standards real low, you're going to achieve real low. But if you shoot for the stars, I think you can get there. I do expect you to complete those community service projects that we talked about this morning. Parents, they may need your help on some of those community service projects. To qualify for the scholarships that's awarded through the Rogers Scholars Program, we've got 17 colleges and universities that offer scholarships for this program now. But to qualify for that, they must complete those community service projects. They have until the end of next May to complete those, so help them, encourage them, because when you get ready to pay that college bill, it comes in a whole lot handier if they've completed that community service project. I'm going to encourage you to get involved in SOAR, Shaping Our Appalachian Region. We've got an annual summit coming up August 4th in Pikeville. I would love to see a room full of Rogers Scholars there, both current class and previous classes. You can make a difference. Your voice needs to be heard. You're coming into this world and you're going to be in leadership positions, so don't leave it to someone else to determine your destiny. Get engaged, get involved. Congressman Rogers was asked at an event I was at a couple of years ago, and someone asked him, said, what is your greatest achievement in your career? You know what he said? Rogers Scholars Program. That's incredible. What a legacy. A man that has been on the national stage and the international stage for 35 plus years, and his crowning achievement are you guys. So go out and make him proud. And speaking of Congressman Rogers, he couldn't be here this week. As you know, there's a little bit of mess going on in D.C. They're trying to figure out budgets, they're trying to figure out health care, they're trying to figure out a lot of things that can keep this country headed in the right direction. But he did want to send you a video message. So, guys, if you could play the video from Congressman Rogers.
Congratulations on your graduation. I now consider each of you as ambassadors for Southern and Eastern Kentucky. I hope you've enjoyed your experience at the Center for Rural Development. Each of you received several letters of recommendation for your selection into this program, and it's evident that there are people who believe in you and see potential for you to make a difference in our region. You must also believe in yourselves. Continue building on what you've learned this week. Further develop your skills in leadership, technology, entrepreneurship, creativity, teamwork, and community service. All of those elements are vital to our future. Even with cutting-edge technology and lofty business ideas, we can't move forward and be competitive without the leadership to take us there. You've learned a lot about entrepreneurship during the last few days. When you consider who the most successful people in Kentucky are, you'll find they're often entrepreneurs. Without them, thousands of people wouldn't have jobs today. It's about more than money, though, in your wallet. A true entrepreneur fuels the local economy and impacts thousands of families. Our region is looking to you, our future. This program was developed to invest extra time, education, training into our young people. I want you to grasp the reality of the global competition we face as a nation. You must be determined to challenge yourselves and succeed. As you prepare to finish your high school careers now, you'll be faced with a lot of choices. Choose classes and projects that challenge you. Find community service projects to fill your spare time, and stay informed about the constant changes in technology. Anytime you're viewed as a leader, you must also understand the moral obligation you've got to make, the good choices that you make, and to withstand negative pressures. As an ambassador, you're always welcome to join in some of our youth projects with Pride and Unite. You can organize your own Pride cleanup team, and we'll supply you with the gear that you need. Or you can organize a Pride Club or a Unite Club in your school. We also have several youth projects scheduled across the region with Operation Unite, like Camp Unite, or Shoot Hoops, Not Drugs. That's with former Wildcat star Jeff Shepard. There's a multitude of ways you can be a leader right now, at home. I look forward to seeing great things from each of you. Congratulations again, and I wish you all the best.
Before I introduce Delaney Stevens, our youth programs manager and community liaison, and Delaney, stand up so they can see who you are. They'll see you in a minute. But Delaney spends countless hours with these young people, not just with the Rogers Scholars Program, but also for the Rogers Explorers Program. And then at the end of July, we have an Entrepreneurial Leadership Institute, and Delaney does a fabulous job leading this program. We could not do it without him. So please give Delaney a round of applause, if you would. I want to thank our RAs, Jacob Begley and Brianne Smith. Stand up so they can see you. Is Mina still here? Oh, over here. We have a couple of interns from UK, Alora and Mina. Stand up and let them see you. And the staff at Lindsey Wilson College just absolutely do an amazing job. Dr. Bill Lucky, I've already talked about. Chris Schmidt, Natalie Vickas, LaFawn Nettles, Brandon is in the back of the room, and Emily is with him in the back of the room, and all of the other staff at Lindsey Wilson that absolutely opens up their campus and makes us feel welcome and gives us all the resources we need. Please thank Lindsey Wilson College, if you would. At this time, I do want to invite Delaney up, and he will lead us through the rest of this graduation, and I will be back up shortly.
Good evening. Parents, welcome to the center, and I just want to thank you all so much for sharing your sons and daughters this week. with us this week. They've been an incredible group, and it's amazing, and I think I mentioned this on Sunday at Lindsey Wilson, but we have 31 scholars from 25 different counties. This is the 6th year that I've been doing these programs, and I see it every year, and it still amazes me, though. It's amazing how these young people can come together so quickly and form lifelong friendships in a matter of hours and days, and it's just amazing what they are capable of. And so they're going to be sharing with you guys tonight some of the experiences that they've had, and it's been a great honor to be with you guys this week. I hope that you've had a great experience. I know that I've had a great experience being involved with you, and so we're really excited that we're going to be able to close out the program tonight and share with your parents and your families what we've done. But before we do that, I want to echo Lonnie's thoughts and sentiments about all of the people involved that it takes to make this program work. This is our 20th program year of Rogers Scholars, and since 2013, it's been on the campus of Lindsey Wilson College. And they have been an incredible partner, not just since 2013, but since 1998 when the program started. Dr. Lucky, LaFawn Nettles, Brandon, Dean Adams, Chris Schmidt, I mean, countless people over there. They have been wonderful to us. They were the very first scholarship partner with this program, and since then we have continued to grow that partnership and that bond with them, and so it's been a great experience having the Rogers Scholars program over there for a portion of the week, and so we cannot say enough good things about Lindsey Wilson College. So please help me thank them once again. And then, of course, Lonnie mentioned the RAs and our interns, but they're the ones that really make this program go in terms of getting students where they need to be and engaging them and making sure that the program runs smoothly. And so Brianne and Jacob and Mina and Laura have been great this week. We've had a great summer. Makes our fifth program this summer so far, and on Monday we're going to be going to Pikeville, and it continues on from there. So they do a great job, and help me thank them as well. Parents, we talked a lot about community service this week. It's a major part of this program. And all of these scholars, I know you guys are already involved in community service. You're doing a lot of things in your community, in your schools, in your churches. And we want to encourage you to continue doing that past high school, past college, into your professional careers. And the long-term goal for us and this program is to get you guys to want to come back to Southern and Eastern Kentucky. And so being engaged in your communities now will help you long-term. Wherever you decide to go, it will help you. But I grew up in Somerset, and I was engaged and I was active in my community whenever I was growing up here. And I firmly believe and know that I came back here because I spent so much of my youth being involved with different activities and programs. And so I want you guys to think about that as you plan your projects for your service. You've already identified a project that you want to do. So parents, they're going to go back to their hometown, their counties tonight, and they're going to have until June 1st of next year to implement that project. And so I encourage you all to support them, and we're always available to help out as well. We want to be involved as much as possible, but I just really want you guys to think about how you can make an impact and how you can help. And you guys have all the answers because you're the future leaders. You're the future business creators and entrepreneurs and innovators. And we spent a lot of time this week talking about that. One thing that resonated with me was Dr. Johns whenever he talked about the Blue Ocean Strategy. I don't know if you guys remember him speaking about that or not, but you know, a lot this week he talked about leadership and entrepreneurship, but the Blue Ocean Strategy, go where no one else is, go where there's all kinds of opportunity. And that's what Southern and Eastern Kentucky can do for you. And that's what you can do for Southern and Eastern Kentucky, whether it's with technology or entrepreneurship or community service or leadership. We need all of those things, and that's what this program is about. But I encourage you guys to try to find something you're passionate about and apply it to the region that you're in now. Because we need you guys, we need those innovators and those, you guys need to push the boundaries and come up with answers that nobody else has come up with. And I think parents, you guys are going to get to hear tonight from these majors that they participated in. You're going to get to hear about some of these opportunities, whether it's with healthcare or engineering or with technology. And so we're really excited that you guys have had the opportunity to come through this program. So with that said, I want to introduce our ambassadors. The ambassador program started in 2006 as a way to get scholars more engaged with the center and with their class. And so the ambassadors serve as a link between the program and their group of scholars. And so every week, every year, we have 2 weeks of this program, but we have 2 scholars that are selected from among their peers. And so they help us with program curriculum, planning youth program reunions. They do a lot of different things with their class, with us. And so this week, a lot of them have had the opportunity to think about wanting to be an ambassador. And so yesterday they decided on that. And so at this time, I want to introduce the ambassadors to come up, and they're going to kind of give an overview of all the things they did this week, what they learned, their experience, and everything. So please help me welcome Mr. Dalton Green and Miss Bryn Galloway.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bryn Galloway, and I'm from Garrett County, and welcome to the Rogers Scholars graduation.
Hello, I'm Dalton Green, and I'm from Greene County. On the first day, Sunday, when y'all dropped us off, as soon as y'all dropped us off, as soon as you parents left, we got right into work. We got into knowing each other. Miss Kara Mattingly from Asbury University came over and helped us with icebreaker games, and she's a big mess. She really helped lighten the mood between all of us scholars, because parents, believe it or not, a lot of your kids are shy. We're all shy until we get to know each other, warm up. So believe it or not, we weren't talking. I know you wish that we were like that, but Kara Mattingly helped us warm up and talk to each other, and really got us going.
On day 2, we got on our charter bus pretty early in the morning, and we made a 2-hour drive to Asbury University in Jessamine County. And as most of you all could believe, we pretty much slept the entire way. But as soon as we got there, we were with the same people as the day before, Kara Mattingly at Asbury University. She put us in groups, and we completed communication and leadership and teamwork activities. Later in the day, we actually went on a high ropes course, and I think all of us were pretty scared. I think most of us wouldn't admit it, but we were all pretty terrified. And I think on this day, we really all came together, and we completed the challenges together, and we conquered our fears.
Now, on Tuesday, which was day 3 of the program, this was probably our longest, hardest, most stressful day, but don't get me wrong, it was also the most fun. If you ask us when we get in the car going home, it was definitely the most fun day. The first thing that on our agenda was we met with Dr. Hackbert and his Entrepreneurs for People's Good, or EPG team, which is a group of undergrads from Berea College where Dr. Hackbert teaches, that goes around trying to boost the image of entrepreneurship and leadership. They held a training session in which they better taught us what leadership is. Each undergrad talked to us about one important trait that makes a leader, that defines them. They are working to improve the Commonwealth, especially in Appalachia. They honed in on Whitley, Knox, Laurel, and Rockcastle counties by helping clean up the walking trail that runs through these counties. They are much like the Center for Rural Development here, because they are always trying to shape our Appalachia region and try to improve the Commonwealth.
The next thing that we did on day 3, we had a presentation by Eastern Kentucky University's president, Dr. Benson. We talked about how EKU's campus is innovative and how they are always trying to make it better for their students. He told us several stories about leadership roles and how he has put his own philosophy in his tenure as president.
After this, we ate lunch, and when we got back, we talked with KIA, which is the Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority. We talked with one of their representatives, and she was a very nice lady. She helped us to better understand financial aid and what it entails to get us ready for college and to let us know the costs, the expenses, what it's like to take out a loan, why we need to fill out a FAFSA form, and how to better prepare ourselves for when we get to that point.
Right after we met with KIA, we had a college and career fair, and this took several hours on Tuesday, and we split up into little groups. There were 16 different colleges and universities that came to talk to us about their campuses and the majors and the scholarships that they offer to us. This was probably one of the most informational opportunities for us this week because we learned about all the 17 schools that offer scholarships solely to the 31 students sitting here.
Now, this was probably my favorite thing that we did on, what was this, Tuesday, I believe. We went to President Lucky's house, which is the president of Lindsey Wilson College, and we had a great meal, steak dinner, 3-course meal, salad, and cake at the end. It was great. Miss Sue Stivers came over, and she met with us, and she taught us etiquette. So, believe it or not, when we go home, we're not gonna be eating like hogs. We're gonna be real formal. We're gonna eat nice. We're gonna be eating better than you. But yes, those are definitely skills that we'll be using for the rest of our lifetime, and we can't thank them enough for President Lucky opening up his house to us to come and eat dinner with him, and Miss Sue Stivers coming and teaching us kids how to eat properly.
To finish out the day on Tuesday, we had ballroom dancing planned. And I think that every single one of us, we were dreading this part of the week up until we got to it. And then when we got there, there was a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Escobar, and they were going to teach us how to dance. First we learned a slow dance, which was like just a box step, and then we learned a fast dance, which was a swing dance. And unfortunately for the guys sitting here, they had to go nonstop because the ratio to boys and girls is not exactly equal. But we all surprisingly loved it, and for a lot of us, this was the most enjoyable part of the whole week.
Now, this is on day 4, the 4th day. Natalie Vickus and Logan Adams, which are with the Bonner Scholar Program here at Lindsey Wilson College. They spent most of the day with us. We started out talking about the Bonner Scholar Program, which is a volunteer-based leadership scholarship. We talked about what community service is and why it really matters in each community that we are in. And then later that day, we actually got involved with the community service project in Adair County. We went out to the community garden, we weeded the plant beds, we planted onions. I believe there were some other things planted also. But then we went to Joy Ministries, which is a service center that accepts donations of food, clothes, and money, and then redistributes it to those that are in need in the community. And they don't just give it away to those people. They have to come in and they have to apply. So they're not a handout, excuse me, if you would say. So they make sure that who they're giving it to really do deserve what they're giving to them.
The next thing we had on day 4, we did a congressional award presentation, and Danielle Smoot, she came in and she talked to us about about the congressional award. We learned all about what it actually is and what the application process entails, and we learned how and where to go and apply, and we were all encouraged to apply because of how it has impacted previous congressional award winners.
Next up, we had Dean Adams, which was the Dean of Students and the VP of Academics, I believe. And he was probably one of the most influential speakers that we heard while we were at Rogers Scholars. Dr. Adams, he had a totally different viewpoint of what leadership is, and it really changed a lot of our minds from when we went in. What we thought leadership was is a totally different than what we thought leadership was when we left, because he taught us that leadership is one of those words that you can't really define it. Leadership it's a broad spectrum. It can be many different things, and he really pushed that you don't define a leader by one thing. It's a broad amount of things that make up a leader.
Going into day 5, this was Thursday, we got a presentation from the Union College Vice President of Student Affairs and the Dean of the College, Dr. Johns. Throughout his presentation, he spelled out the word leadership. It was like an acronym. For every letter, he put in characteristics of what it takes to be a good leader. We talked about how you have to remain honest, determined, persistent. We learned a lot about how keeping your morals as a leader is more important than even getting the job done.
And then we had on Thursday afternoon, we had a video conference with NASA streaming from Alabama at the Marshall Space Center. Our speaker, he was a mechanical engineer. He talked about the involvement that NASA's having, current projects, things such as going to Mars, the largest rocket they're building right now. It's really, really shocking what's going on, and it's still, a lot of people think that NASA is not as big as it was, but it's still very big. All the science and the technology that goes into it, and all the careers, all the health careers that NASA hires. He answered all of our questions about the future for space innovation, and it was a very influential, it was very shocking what they are doing there at NASA.
This morning we had a presentation by Mr. Kenny Davis. He was the 1972 United States Olympic team captain for the basketball team. He is originally from Wayne County and currently lives in Garrett County. And he had the most interesting story that we heard this week. He talked about his time at the 72 Olympics in Munich. If you haven't heard, I would encourage you to buy his book, because he talked about all of his experiences, everything that went on throughout these Olympics that led him to become the leader he is today. And his story just shows us that you should always stand up for what you believe in and always keep rolling with the punches that life throws you.
On day 6, we had the community service projects, which is today. We had our community service project proposals that we gave to Mr. Lonnie Lawson over here. Each one of us, we had our idea that we're going to do, that we're going to implement, which is one of the prerequisites for this program that we have to complete in order to get those scholarships from those 17 colleges and universities. We got up in front of the room over here, just down the hall in the center, and stood up, told how we're going to implement it, what we're doing. We gave our past community service, how that's going to help us, and how we're going to how we're going to complete these with the Rogers Scholars Program.
On the back of our Rogers Scholars t-shirts, it says that this is the experience of a lifetime. And maybe not all of us would have believed that at the beginning of the week, but this experience has truly been life-changing and has personally impacted each of our lives. We all came into this program a little unsure of what to expect, but I know 100% now that nobody here has imagined how truly blessed we were to have been accepted into this wonderful program. Everybody here got an opportunity that a very small amount of us students get to have. We all made lifelong friends that helped make this week even better. I know that there are many of us that will stay connected. I just wanted to say that this experience has opened up so many doors for all of us that will all help us to better our future and the future for the Appalachian region of Kentucky.
Now to touch on something that Mr. Lonnie Lawson and Mr. Delaney Stevens have already said, this is on behalf of all the Rogers Scholars. We would like to thank everyone who's made this experience possible. All of our presenters and activity leaders who taught us so much about leadership, community service, and much more. The namesake for this program, we'd like to thank Congressman Hal Rogers and all that he's done to make this possible. Delaney Stevens and the staff at the Center for Rural Development, President Lucky, LaFawn Nettles, Brandon McDowell, and all of the staff at Lindsey Wilson College. And finally, the 17 colleges and universities who partner with this program to provide us with scholarship opportunities in hopes of furthering our education. Again, thank you all from the bottom of our heart.
And I just wanted to give an extra thanks to all the parents and the family members out there, because without you all, I don't really know if we could be up here doing this.
Thank you all.
Great job, guys. I look forward to working with you all over the next several months, next couple of years, to continue, not just to keep you guys engaged, but to keep all of you engaged and to continue keeping the mission of the Center and Rogers Scholars alive in your counties, in your schools, and especially in you guys. So great presentation. And I really encourage you guys too, I want to add, go back and share your experience with people, not just family members and parents and all of that, but especially with young people, with your friends in high school. And if you got brothers or sisters or cousins, go back and tell them your experience here and the impact that it's had on you, because that's how we really get things going into changing Southern and Eastern Kentucky. So keep that in mind. So at this time, we're going to start with our major presentation. So majors are a big part to the week. Students spend about 10 hours in one of 3 majors. So whenever these scholars were accepted, they ranked their preference. And I'll tell you, healthcare is always the most popular, but we split them up pretty evenly. So there's 10, and we had 11 in one group. But and so not everyone gets the major that they want. But with that said, we always try to give these scholars an experience that they've never had before. We try to give them an opportunity to think about something different that they may have never thought about. And so I think for a lot of you guys, especially the ones that may not have been in healthcare necessarily, you definitely got some new ideas, and you might have walked out of your major with a new appreciation for all the different opportunities out there. So before I introduce engineering to come up and share their experience, I have to thank all of our partners, because without our partners, not just with our majors, but with everyone, this would not be possible. And so the major presentation presenters that we had this week, we have UK College of Engineering, Dr. Bruce Walcott. He has been teaching this major for 20 years now. This was his 39th time teaching the engineering major. Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital and Susan Wilson and all of her staff there. Southern Kentucky Area Health Education Center, Lindsey Wilson College of Nursing, and then Interapt. They were the provider of the technology major this year, and that was a new major for us. And so please help me thank all of these outstanding partners. So now I'd like to invite engineering to come up and share their experience.
My name is Tyler London from Metcalfe County.
My name is Zachary Todd from Casey County.
As I said, I'm Dalton Green, and I'm from Greene County.
I'm Noah Taylor from Laurel County.
I'm Noah Williams from Estill County.
I'm Allison Horn from Martin County.
I'm Abigail Loy from Russell County.
I'm Emily Crum from Pike County.
I'm Mackenzie Klaus from Pulaski County.
I'm Quentin Carr from Jessamine County.
Hi, I'm Taylor Young from Pulaski County, and standing before you is our team of engineers that are heading for success in this major under Dr. and Mrs. Walcott. We had an amazing experience as we began to bond and develop relationships that will last forever. Through this major, we became experts on buoyancy, reverse engineering, innovation, creation, design, and teamwork.
The first thing we did was we were with the Mr. Walcott, who is doing the engineering class, and he did a slideshow that he made that was about the different types of engineering, so mining engineering, electrical and computer, all the different kinds, and he went through all these and divided us into teams, and we played a review game with buzzers, and we would buzz in, and whoever got the answer right first got a prize, and we went through and collected up all of his prizes.
Once we learned the various flavors of engineering, we realized that a key factor of this major was teamwork. So our team bonded over various activities such as hula hoop chain activity, the hula hoop balance activity, and the tennis ball balancing activity. Here we discovered our necessity for each person in our diverse group.
Dr. Walcott had us do a project that involved civil engineering, and civil engineering is the process of designing and maintaining roads, bridges, dams, and other structures that keep civilization up and running.
The project we did after we learned about civil engineering was the aluminum foil boat challenge, and we all got partners, and we got 4x4-inch pieces of aluminum foil, and we made our best boat that we thought would hold the most pennies in water. And so we all tried that, and then after our first trial, we went back and learned the calculus to actually make your boat work better, and we all retried, and most of us had improvement.
After the buoyancy challenge, Dr. Walcott asked us to think of a problem that we face in our community today, and then we were supposed to invent a product solution.
After we created a product to solve the particular problem, we then created a prototype of the product using a 3D pen. In one end of the pen, we inserted colored plastic where it was then melted so we could mold our ideas into reality.
After we made our prototype, we then described our ideas to Mrs. Walcott through an elevator pitch. My group, for example, knew that falling asleep while driving was a major problem. So we decided to make a device in the steering wheel that would moderate your heart rate. And when it began to slow down or notice that you were falling asleep, it would then vibrate until your heart rate would rise or you would wake up.
Next, we were split up into groups, and each group was given a Lego EV3 robot.
We started out by taking this robot apart and putting it back together, which is a form of reverse engineering.
We then learned how to program the robot to perform simple tasks.
One of these tasks was to make simple right and left turns and to knock a tennis ball into a goal.
This was very challenging due to the many variables present in the robot.
These variables were things like the degree of the turn that the robot makes and how fast the robot goes.
The robot incorporated two different types of engineering, which were mechanical and electrical.
Mechanical engineering is when it deals with the design and construction of different types of machines.
Electrical engineering is a field of engineering that generally deals with the study and application of electricity, electronics, and electromagnetism.
And as Mr. Delaney Stevens said, over the period of 2 days, we were in our majors for 10 hours. And Dr. and Mrs. Walcott, they were very understanding that we got wore out. And so they had a few fun activities planned for us. And this is one of them, the Invention Challenge. And this is actually something that they do at the UK Engineering School. to get just teamwork built, because what he wanted to show us is that it takes multiple different kinds of engineers to make one project work. You have to have a mechanical engineer, chemical engineer, electrical engineer just to make something work. So he divided us up in groups of 3, and Mrs. Walcott gave us a bag of Legos. And with these Legos, they gave us 5 minutes to plan to build the highest tower that we could build. But you could not put 2 bricks together, more than 2 bricks together, during the planning stage. And then after the 5-minute planning period, we had 1 minute with no talking. We could not talk to anybody. We were in our groups together, and we had to build the tallest tower possible without talking.
Our branch of engineering was electrical engineering. For this, we programmed Ozobots, the world's smallest smart robot.
The robot is programmed using an app where it follows the line you create. There are infrared sensors on the bottom of the bot to pick up different colors. If there is a break in the line, the sensors pick up a different colored command and does what the command says.
Different groups built courses that we had to solve using certain programs. After the courses were built, groups took turns programming the robots to complete the various courses.
One of the last things that we did is Mr. Walcott gave us a canister, which is just a cylinder with 2 closed ends with an electromagnet inside, which is a super powerful magnet. And then we took a piece of magnetic wire wrapped around this canister, which is using something that a man named Nikola Tesla, something he figured out. And what we did with this wire is we coiled it around the canister. Once we had it, we took 2 clips and clipped it up to a LED light. And he showed that by shaking this canister, you can actually power a light. And that's how all these lights in here are working. They're actually going so fast, but you can't see them strobing with the human eye. But he showed us with the power, with the positive and negative energy, that by shaking that canister, that's how the lights are made. And that's all that we have from the engineering major. Thank you all.
Great job, guys. Next is our healthcare major, and we've had the healthcare major for about 10 years now or so, especially once healthcare became a major focus, especially with education and higher education. We started to look at tweaking some of what we wanted to provide to these students. So since we started the healthcare major, Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital has been a phenomenal partner. It gives these students an experience to go into the hospital and work with doctors and nurses, and so they're going to come up and talk about all the different things that they did and the experience they had. So guys, come on up.
Hi, I'm Laura Baker, and I'm from Bath County.
My name is Macy Conley, and I'm from Morgan County.
My name is Grace Evans, and I'm from Knox County.
My name is Hagen Hall, and I'm from Perry County.
My name is Abigail Smith, and I'm from Jackson County.
My name is Brianna Bush, and I'm from Carter County.
My name's Olivia Whitfield, and I'm from Pike County.
My name is Shelby Phillips, and I'm from Clay County.
My name is Brock Runyon, and I'm from Pike County.
My name is Owen Gibson, and I'm from Letcher County, and this is the healthcare major. A couple days this week, we went down to the Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital, and we just looked at various different departments in the hospital, and they showed us what they did.
The first thing we learned was suturing, and before we even started, Dr. Santiago told us a funny story about his young life, and that he used to be taught to sew by his own mother, and he was bad at it. And he kept on poking himself, and he kept on getting mad at himself for not being able to get it, but now he does it for a living and he can teach you it.
Dr. Santiago taught us various skills and techniques. Some of these are that we learned how to do both single stitches and continuous stitches. And we learned multiple knots using both the instruments and our hands.
While we were at the hospital, the people that worked there were nice enough to let us see their labs. And while we were there, they told us that labs are open to any kind of patient 24/7 as long as you have a signed doctor's order and an insurance card and photo identification of any kind. The lab tech showed us their state-of-the-art machinery and let us look at different samples of specimens such as staph and strep.
An echo or an echocardiograph is basically a heart ultrasound. An echo takes moving pictures of the heart using sound waves which average around 60 frames per second. People typically have an echo done if the patient has had a heart attack, is complaining of chest pains, has a heart murmur, a patient has a heart defect, or has a rheumatic fever. So that's what an echo is. When we met with the sonographer, he asked for a volunteer, which Hagen graciously offered to do. He asked Hagen to lie down on the table and use a cold gel and a probe which was moved over his chest. Moments later, pictures of Hagen's heart appeared on the screen. He explained what a bad heart looked like in comparison to Hagen's healthy heart.
During our trip to the hospital, we had the wonderful opportunity to tour their radiology department. The first thing they took us to was their CT scan. They showed us the machines, how all of it worked. The coolest part I thought about it was the fact that they pulled up one of the actual CT scans, and they showed us how they can actually cut off pieces of the person's, sounds kind of weird, the person's head to reveal the blood vessels and the soft tissue inside the skull. It's really, really interesting.
We also got to look at an x-ray machine and see how they worked, along with how to read the films it produced. We also got the opportunity to wear the lead aprons that you have to wear during x-rays.
The next thing they showed us was their ultrasounds. They showed us a live ultrasound of a thyroid. It was actually one of the doctors themselves laid down, and it was really, really interesting. They kind of explained to us how an ultrasound works, how it sends sound waves that bounce back, and that's how the picture is actually produced.
We then went to the OR, and before we entered the OR, we had to dress up for surgery, and we put on scrubs, shoe covers, hats, and jackets. It gives us the opportunity to see what it feels like to be a doctor for a day.
The next thing we did was probably my favorite, is they actually showed us how the surgeons scrub in before a surgery. I don't think my hands will ever be as clean again in my life, but they showed us how they use the really interesting soaps. I don't know, they look weird, they come in a different package. The soap has like a built-in scrub brush, but you start from the tips of your fingers and work your way down to the elbows. It's really thorough, but it's really interesting.
While we were in the OR, we got the opportunity to view some surgeries. We got to watch a man get a morphine pump, as well as a woman having a total knee replacement. We also got to watch them prepare the surgery rooms.
A catheterization laboratory, or cath lab, is an examination room that is vital to the treating of chest pain and abnormalities of the heart. In a cath lab, diagnostic imaging is used to visualize the arteries of the heart. Most cath labs have a single X-ray generator source and an X-ray image intensifier for fluoroscopic imaging. Using this imaging, they diagnose the problem and use a guide wire to put in a stent and to stop a heart attack in its tracks.
While we were at the hospital, we toured the ER where we met an on-call RN, and she took us back to a patient room where we got to view all of the different instruments that the doctors use when working with patients. And she actually let us check our oxygen levels with one of those instruments. Also, the RN stressed how important that teamwork is in this field. It can get really chaotic in the ER, as everyone might know, and everyone has a job, and it's vital that they can complete it.
One of my favorite parts of visiting the hospital was seeing the helipad and talking to a flight paramedic. The helipad is right outside of the emergency room and is one of the first helicopters in the state that carries blood. Each of us got the chance to actually sit in it and take a picture, and that was a really neat experience.
After we saw the helipad, we went back to the Lindsey Wilson campus and had lunch, which was amazing, by the way. And then we went to our final major session, and we saw nursing, how Miss Kelly Mann, she was our instructor, and she taught us how to take blood pressure and locate all our arteries on our body and feel our heart rate. And she also let us work with like a stethoscope, and we read our oxygen levels and our heart rate with a pulse oximeter. And we also learned CPR and the Heimlich maneuver. So afterwards, we had to make about a minute-long video for the end of class about what we learned, or just something, you know, kind of goofy. So we have one for you here right now. And that concludes the medical segment. Thank you.
Good job, guys. In addition to Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital, since we've been at Lindsey Wilson College, their nursing department has really stepped up and helped us out a lot, and so we do all of the nursing components of the healthcare major on campus over there. Kelly Mann, who led that session, she was actually a 2006 Rogers Scholar, and she attended Lindsey Wilson College, and then now she works for the college. So it's really cool to see that come full circle, and so we really appreciate them and all their support and involvement. The last major is technology careers, and so this is a new major for us this year, and so we've been tweaking this a little bit over the past few years. It's always had a technology component, and so we partnered with Interapt this year, and the scholars, I'm not going to give it away because they want to talk about it, but we partnered with Interapt out of Louisville, Kentucky. They're a technology firm. They do some amazing things, not just in Louisville and all across the nation, and they're working in Eastern Kentucky right now to retrain coal miners how to code. And so it's really neat to see what they're doing. But I really enjoyed kind of seeing some of the things they talked about and did in technology in this major, because it really focused back on the entrepreneurship piece, creativity, innovation, going back to that blue ocean strategy. You know, we talked about that. So at this time, I want to invite the technology group to come up and share their experience.
Hey y'all, my name's Cole Ballinger from Rockcastle County.
My name's Gabe Crockett, and I'm from Clay County.
My name's Lydia Smith, and I'm from Knox County.
My name's Jacob Mitchell from Whitley County.
My name is Jaden Hackworth. I'm from McGoffin County.
My name is Courtney Brooks, and I'm from Wolfe County.
I'm Emerson Noah, and I'm from Harlan County.
My name is Bryn Galloway, and I'm from Garrett County.
My name is Kathleen Smith, and I'm from Lincoln County.
My name is Mackenzie Barber, and I'm from Boyd County, and this is the technology major. As Delaney said, we partnered with Interapt, and a man named Steve Fowler was our leader. He's that awesome guy in the middle. So, as Delaney touched on a little bit, Interapt is a Louisville-based technology program, it's a business, that focuses on designing apps specifically to help companies improve upon areas such as marketing, consumer, and customer convenience and communication. They have designed everything from a private messaging app to an online charting system used by nurses and doctors. Recently, they have just implemented a new training program specifically designed for the people living in our Appalachian area. So they will pay you to go get your certification in coding and technology usage, and if you complete this program, you are immediately hired to the company if you would so choose to do that. So what they are really trying to hit on in this area is giving the everyday person a chance to come in and improve their skill set and have a better life for themselves, hold down a steady paying job without having to leave the comfort of our own home state.
We got an in-depth view of the company, and we learned how they started and how they have grown from just 4 people to around 50 employees now. And this is a relatively new company. And I'll turn for some, oh, wrong way. There you go, there's some pictures. And this company is dedicated to reversing the brain drain in Kentucky. And what the brain drain is in our state is where Kentuckians, they get their degree and leave the state to seek different job opportunities because they feel like they can't succeed here or there are better job opportunities elsewhere. And Interapt wants them to stay in the state, ultimately improving our economy, unemployment rate, and overall quality of life.
He talked to us about the design model. There are 4 main parts to the design model, and many companies such as Interapt use this model to create successful apps and products. Stage 1 was the idea stage, and the idea stage is characterized by seeing a problem or a rising trend and solving that problem or meeting that trend. You brainstorm and see how your app or product would be most useful, and then often it is better to do this as a group, so there will be a variety of ideas and experiences.
Step 2 is the logistics stage. Once you have brainstormed your product, there are many questions to ask yourself to ensure your product will be successful. Examples of these questions are, who will manage the product, what problems does the product solve, and how will you get users?
Next is the design stage, and in this stage you would decide the layout and the characteristics that you would want your product to have. It would include certain buttons, sounds, and movements that would attract the attention of the users.
The finalizing stage is basically the marketing part of creating a product. In this stage, you will form partnerships, create an advertising concept, come up with catchy slogans and names, and develop an efficient cost model. This stage is mostly doing whatever is possible to let people know about your product and why they should use it.
We had the opportunity to work in groups to invent the best app that we could think of in 30 minutes. And my group came up with the app Odd Jobs with the slogan, Local Jobs, Local People. It's an app that involves innovation of a combination of Craigslist and Angie's List. Its main use is to make it simple to get odd jobs or have something worked on. Also to get younger generations involved in the local economies.
Our app has a GPS feature that shows who can work that day in their area. For example, who is in a 10 to 20 mile radius will pop up when filtered. Our app also has a social media aspect where you may post pictures of previous jobs completed. We would advertise our app through Facebook, radio stations, and ads based on search. Our 1-year plan is to have 5,000 total accounts and 1,500 jobs completed. Our 5-year plan was to have half the United States using this app, And our 10-year plan is to have the whole nation using this app and shifting to local businesses also. Here's a video of another group presenting their app. It doesn't have sound due to technical difficulties, but this video was recorded by Google Glass, which Gabe and Cole will talk about in a second.
World's Closet. All right. Cool.
One of the pieces of technology we got to play with was the Oculus Rift. It's a virtual reality device, and virtual reality is one of the newest and most popular new technologies on the market. And the market for VR is exponentially growing every day due to its complete enveloping of the user into a new world. When you're like using the VR headset, you're completely immersed into almost like your own world. In the near future, VR is most likely going to be used in everything from gaming to even training new employees.
The last thing that we're going to talk about here is this device you see on my face up here called the Google Glass, which is it's a pretty exclusive piece of technology that our guy, Mr. What was his name? Steve Fowler. He helped us get our hands on that, and we took all the video and pictures, from our ITT major with that. And as you can see, it doesn't really work as good as you think it would for being $1,500. So what he proposed was using the Google Glass to be used in mechanical jobs and training jobs in Eastern Kentucky, and that would help jobs become easier to train and become much more efficient, because Google Glass is a hands-free, basically a phone that you wear on your face. So that wraps it up for our technology major. Thank you.
Good job, guys. I can't remember the exact numbers that Steve talked about when you first got into the major, but the Google Glass, you don't see it on the street very much at all, especially in our area, but it's doing some amazing things when you're talking about training employees and cost savings in businesses. Some companies are saving millions of dollars because they're using Google Glass to train employees to be able to do their job quicker and more efficient, and so it's really cool to see that come along. So I'm glad you guys got an opportunity to work with that technology, and who knows, we might all be wearing Google Glass in Eastern Kentucky one day, so we'll see. At this time, I want to invite Jacob Beckley to come up, and he's going to read a bio of a former board member of ours, Doug Reese. And Doug Reese, he passed away suddenly, but we honor his memory with a scholarship for our Rogers Scholars. And so Jacob's going to talk about him and present a scholarship to one of our students.
Thank you, Delaney. Douglas Reese was well known throughout southern and eastern Kentucky as a prominent attorney and civic leader. Doug was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, son of Albert and Opal Montgomery Reese in 1942. Doug's family moved to Jackson County, Kentucky when he was a child. Doug passed away suddenly on January 4th, 2006. He is survived by one daughter, Amy, and one son, Adrian, as well as one brother, Gary Reese. Doug earned his bachelor's degree at Eastern Kentucky University in 1964 after graduation from Tyner High School in his native Jackson County. He earned his law degree from the University of Louisville Brandeis School of Law in 1971, where he was a member of Phi Alpha Delta legal fraternity. He was a politician just after his admission to the bar in 1971 and through 1986, Reese was in private practice in Clay and Laurel counties and served as city attorney for Manchester for 5 years during that time. In the 1980s, Doug moved from Manchester to London, Kentucky. His law practice in the 1980s was one of the largest coal law practices in eastern Kentucky. From 1986 until 1993, he was senior managing partner of Reese, Lang, and Breeding, a corporate business and banking practice aimed primarily at the coal and energy businesses, with offices in London, Corbin, Versailles, Manchester, Nicholasville, Danville, and Lexington, Kentucky. From 1993 until 1997, he served as counsel to Reese, Lang, and Breeding, with offices in London and Lexington, as well as Atlanta. The next year, he served as counsel to Napier and Associates, and from 1998 to 2006, he was again in solo private practice in London. He was admitted to the bar of the U.S. District Courts for the Eastern and Western Districts of Kentucky, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit, and the U.S. Supreme Court. He served on the board of directors of the Center for Rural Development from 1995 through 2005 and was board chairman from July 1994 until his death. He was named to the executive board of the Kentucky Native American Arts and Crafts Center at General Butler State Park in 2003. Reese was also a board member of the Sanders Brown Center for Aging at the University of Kentucky from 1992 to 1998. Appointed by the governor of Kentucky to the Kentucky Appalachian Task Force, the regional crime commissioner from 1972 to 1974, and to the Kentucky Appalachian Commission from 1996 to 2004. He also served as a board member of the Kentucky Opry, Mountain Arts Center, the Board of Overseers of the University of Louisville, and the Board of Trustees at U of L, the Eastern Kentucky Corporation, and in 1990 was named vice chairman of that entity, and in 1991, its chairman. He was a member of the fundraising committee of Cooperative Community Care, a former member of Natural Resources and Environmental Law section of the American Bar Association. He had also been a director of London Bank and Trust, First State Bank of Manchester, and director of National City Bank Southeast, covering London, Manchester, Harlan, Middlesbrough, Corbin, and Barberville when he died. Reese was a Mason, a member of the Lafayette Club, National Trust for Historic Preservation, Kentucky Historical Society, the Jaycees, Kiwanis Club, London Laurel Chamber of Commerce, Sons of the Mexican War Veterans, and Kenton Kin, descendants of Simon Kenton. To honor his memory, the Doug Reese Memorial Award is presented to the highest scoring applicant of each Scholars Week. The recipient is awarded a $250 scholarship to any in-state institution of his or her choice. In addition, the recipient receives a handcrafted mountain dulcimer from Eastern Kentucky. It is my honor to present the Week 1 Doug Reese Memorial Award to Mr. Gabe Crockett.
Congrats, Gabe. Now I'd like to invite Brianne to come up and help us present certificates of completion to these scholars.
Laura Baker. Cole Ballinger. Mackenzie Barber. Courtney Brooks. Brianna Bush. Quentin Carr. Mackenzie Klaus. Macy Conley. Gabriel Crockett. Emily Crum. Grace Evans. Bryn Galloway. Owen Gibson. Dalton Green. Jaden Hackworth. James Hall. Allison Horn. Tyler London. Emma Loy. Jacob Mitchell. Emerson Noah. Shelby Phillips. Brock Runyon. Abigail Smith. Catherine Smith. Lydia Smith. Noah Taylor. Zachary Todd. Olivia Whitfield. Noah Williams. And Taylor Young.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2017 Week 1 Rogers Scholars. Parents, I just want to thank you once again for giving us the opportunity to get to know these bright young students, and please help them progress as leaders, as students, as individuals. We're going to be staying in communication with you all over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, because we want to stay engaged with these scholars and all the abilities that they have. And one way to do that is with community service, and so we'll continually talk about that. And we also encourage you all to help support us with our programs and what we do. We provide not just Rogers Scholars, but our Rogers Explorers and our Eli program free of charge to participants. So please, at any chance you get, help us, whether it's writing a check or buying houseboat tickets or participating in our Glow Run this fall. So it takes everyone coming together to help continue the mission of what we're doing. And so we appreciate all the support that you're able to provide. But at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Lonnie, and he's going to close the program out.
Thank you, Delaney. As Laura is getting the scholars lined up, I want to thank a few folks. We will have some opportunities for photographs if you want to take the entire group, because we're going to get them up here, and we want some photographs, but if you want photographs, you can get them as well. Folks, I've got to thank, and first and foremost, our mentor, our spiritual leader, our visionary leader, Congressman Hal Rogers. Please give him a round of applause if you would. I must thank the Center's Board of Directors that allow me to dream big with these young people. They've never once said, "Are you crazy? Why are you going through all this and trying to raise money to bring young people in here?" But I believe so passionately that these young people can change this region forever. It's been in this cycle for a long, long time, but we've got some really good young people coming on, and I just really appreciate my board of directors believing in that vision and believing in that dream. So thank our board of directors, if you would. And then I'm going to hit a few of the folks that made it possible, and we'll catch all those at the end. UK College of Engineering, as Delaney said, they've supported us from day one in the engineering program. Lindsey Wilson College, Dr. Bill Lucky and the entire staff at Lindsey Wilson. South Kentucky Rural Electric Cooperative, which has raised over $200,000 to support this program over the last 14 years. Mr. Milton Huffaker, Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital, Interapt, a new partner with us on our IT major. And I've got to thank some of the center staff as well. Delaney and the RAs, Jacob and Brianne, thank you guys so much. The interns, Laura and Mina, thank you guys so much. Center staff, Amy Ellis, Shannon Carter, Jonathan Foster, Sharon Dotson, Kevin Pierce, Wes Brown, Sharon Hickman, Laura Glover, Allison Cross, Deborah Hines, Mackenzie Lute, Gretchen Wheeler, Ina Cross, and all of those that I didn't mention. Please thank those folks. And parents, last of all, thank you so much for sharing your sons and daughters with us. Encourage them to dream big dreams. Encourage them to get engaged. We need them in this region. We want them in this region. We want them to get their education, but we want them to make a difference. So stay in touch with us every chance that you get, and we're going to bring them back out and get a photo. Godspeed.